just starting off, just how are you feeling physically? I know Joe said you've been already, participating in scrimmages and stuff like that. Just how close are you to feeling like yourself again?
I feel like I'm there. I feel like I'm there. Obviously, just continue to keep playing, keep getting my touch back, keep getting my rhythm back. I haven't played since March 17th before last Thursday, so it takes a little time, but that's what preseason training camp and all that is for. It was tough, but I think it helped me because it made me, sit down and just like actually give my body some rest, like give myself some time from basketball, made me miss it a little bit more, and it gave me a new little hunger to the next season.
Trey, what do you think of the team around you now that Joe's put together? There's a lot of new faces.
Depth, young depth, and I think that's going to be a big help for us, especially, in the Western Conference is a tough conference, and we have a lot of people there. We have a lot of different teams that are going to be competing, but I think what separates us is our youth and our speed, and I really feel like we're going to do really well this year based on, the guys that we've added and, just the way that we all fit as a collective.
Unfortunately, it's kind of been a thing for you for the past couple of years being limited during the summers. Just what was your approach this summer, not being able to take contact for a lot of it, but still finding ways to get better?
I think really what changed was just that, I had to work on different things earlier in the summer because I wasn't really able to, shoot threes until like middle of July or so. Like it was hard to shoot threes, so I worked a lot on, mid-range shots and getting to that second level. The contact portion, obviously, I wanted to, play, but I think it was just, it gave me time to slow down and really just like work on things that I really need to work on.
Do you have a different sense of confidence heading into camp this season, just knowing that you didn't have to go through any of the contract stuff, all that's taken care of, your future's pretty locked in?
Not necessarily. I would say that obviously having a contract locked in and not really having to think about that is, it's a way off your shoulders. But I don't think it really affected me basketball-wise too much because, I knew I was gonna be fine. Like whether that was last year or this year, like I knew I was gonna be fine. And so I think the biggest thing is just trusting my work and preparing for the season and getting ready to lead my team. Even if he was here, I probably still would have taken the same leadership role. I just think as I've grown, and this is my 5th year in the building, and as crazy as that sounds to me, like I feel like you have to step into those roles. You have to step into being a leader, especially for the goals that I have for myself. I have to be a leader for this team in order for us to win games and make it far.
Sure. What can you say about the addition of Jordan Poole? Seems like you guys already had a relationship. Now he's been added to the team, kind of replaces CJ. What can you say about his game and what he's going to bring to the team?
Yeah, super dynamic and good dude. Really, he brings a good dynamic to the locker room. As soon as he got traded, first of all, I was shocked. Kind of, I thought it was kind of fake actually when I saw the news, but it was cool. I called him that day and we talked for like 2 hours about different stuff about the team and then just like how we want to get things done this year. So really excited to have him on the team.
You went up in a huge jump in points per game last season. You also went up in rebounds and assists per game. There was an injury bug issue. You got a lot of opportunities because of that. Now people coming back healthy. How do you maintain that production while also obviously playing team basketball?
Yeah, that's what the summer work is for. You just tighten up your skills, get better. I think there's different ways that I'm going to be able to, showcase my game that I wasn't able to last year because of, just confidence in my work. And I know this summer I put in a lot of work. And, I feel like our team is just structured in a way where I can help these guys a lot with, my scoring ability, my gravity, and then also my added playmaking. He looks good. Yeah, he looks good right now. He's slimmer than I've ever seen him during the summertime, which is always a really good sign. And, I just feel like he's in a really good place mentally.
Joe talked about hanging out with Zion, watching games with him. What have your interactions been with him and maybe talking about what he did in Detroit and how you get to a place like that?
We've had a lot of conversations. Me and Joe, when I got to Summer League, me and him had a almost a 2-hour conversation, and just talked about a lot of different things, his expectations, what I expect, different things that, we feel about the team, our outlook on winning, mindset, but just a bunch of different things. And so it's good to talk to him, especially because he was a player and he was a winner. Like, that's where I want to be as a player, as a winner. And so, hearing him, picking his brain on that aspect is not something that you're able to get a lot throughout the NBA. So, it's very valuable to have him as the president.
How familiar are you guys of your generation with the bad boys that he was a part of? I mean, have any of you gone back and looked at old highlights?
I am. I'm not that young. Like I'm young, but not that young. So I know even before he was the GM, I knew who they were. I've watched them, not watch them live play, obviously, but watch back on highlights and stuff like that. So I'm very aware of, how they played, what their mindset was, their philosophies and stuff like that. So I know he's probably thinking about bringing some of that championship DNA here.
We talked about Jordan's obsession with the game and being in the gym and everything like that. Have you really seen that, and how much do you need that type of mindset on this team this year?
Say that one more time for me. I'm sorry.
Joe had talked about Jordan's obsession
Yeah.
with the game and the mindset and everything like that. How much have you seen that, and how much do you need that mindset in this team?
I'll give you an example. I heard a ball bouncing this morning when I was coming in for physicals, and JP was working out on the court already. So I think it just shows you what type of guy he is when it comes to working out and taking his game seriously. When we were in Laguna, after everybody was done, me and him worked out once again. So I know he really takes it seriously. And, you love seeing guys do stuff like that, because then it makes me think, all right, now I have to work harder, or I'm going to make sure I'm still working because I know he's going to be right behind me.
What's it like getting to know Fears and Queen? What do you think those guys can add to this team?
Those little dudes are funny, man. They're something else. They're really characters, and most of the time rookies come in, they're a little shy, like they try not to step on anybody's toes. They try to just, be within themselves. They have not been that at all. Maybe have to dial them back a little bit. But, Fears, he seems like he's a quiet kid, but he also is very outgoing. He competes at a really high level. Queen is goofy, like really goofy. And he has a really good spirit about himself. Like, people really gravitate towards him because of his spirit. And then Micah, he's a good kid, really good kid. And he's been really outgoing, asking a lot of questions, wants to learn. And so, you have a good group of young guys that really want to learn and aren't, dismissive or just standoffish, which is a really good thing.
You talked about the playmaking and guys like Jordan and Jeremiah can add an explosive dynamic to this offense. How do guys like that on the court help best complement you offensively?
One, they can play off the ball or on the ball, because I know for sure I'll have on-ball reps, and so they'll have to space out and be ready for me to find them. Or, if they're on the ball, then I'll space out for them. But the biggest thing is that we all have to play for each other. So I think both of them can do that. And low key, I do. In all honesty, because I think Jeremiah's 18 or 19. He's 18. Like, I'm 20. I'm 7 years older than him. That doesn't even make any sense. Like, I was always the young guy on the team, and now I got kids on this team. So, yeah, it's crazy.
What were your impressions of Mahoney as an opponent, just going against him, and what he can bring here?
Hated playing against him, so I'm going to love having him on the team. Very excited for what he brings, especially at the basketball IQ standpoint, and somebody that can pass the ball, somebody that knows how to play basketball, somebody's going to screen hard, rebound really hard, something that I think we've missed, a lot within the last probably 2 years for sure. So I think he'll add a big dynamic for that.
How much do you talk to her about you guys both had sustained those shoulder injuries and stuff, talking about this season, what you guys wanted to do?
Everybody mistakes us for the same person for some reason. And then we had surgery on the same shoulder, and our surgeries were both on Wednesdays. So, our days kind of coincided. So it's like, all right, at this point, I understand where people are coming from. But during the summer on Wednesdays, we check in on each other because those were our benchmarks and stuff like that. And I mean, as it got to like week 20, we stopped checking in, but we actually got cleared at the exact same time too. So it's crazy how it happens, but you know, I guess we just have to embrace it at this point.
March 17th, did you know you'd be back for the season open? I mean, were you pretty determined to get back?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I wasn't. That's been the biggest thing is I just want to make sure I'm there for the start of the season, ready to play. And, you know, obviously you don't have any control over, like, you know, the recovery process. A lot of times you just try to do the best that you can, but I knew I was going to put my best foot forward into attacking this rehab process.
Is it a goal to be an all-star this year?
Absolutely.
I know some of this is based on the end of last season, but the projections are like 30 wins, 32 wins for this team. Do you pay attention to that? And can you use maybe some of that as fuel?
I have a photo album in my phone that has every slight against the Pelicans or myself. So I think that can answer your question.
Thanks, Brad.
Appreciate it.